Okay. So there were two PIL concerts when there should have been one. And Carmel Moran, my Snake Friday, not my Girl Friday, she used to do this thing. I don't know if you ever heard her. She'd go, the pill show, pill show, pill show. She would refer to it as one word. I hated her for saying it that way. Pill show. But it's like Bill Joel. So she says, oh, we're going to have a press conference at Les Dômes, which is like this restaurant near where Tower Records in West Hollywood used to be. Now it's near where Book Soup is. And
it was owned by Ringo Starr.
It was owned by Ringo Starr. I didn't know that. And so there's this like Keith, because I used to, before actually meeting those guys, I used to just idolize Lydon for the interviews he would do. And he seemed like he was really like tour de force. He was his own word, that he considered that they were Virgin Records tour de force, and he would always give these like super focused, ultra confident interviews about what they were about and such. And so it was sort of like by having this thing at Les Dômes, it was in the afternoon. I guess the use of the restaurant was free, but then they made a cheese platter one trivia I hadn't thought of in a long time was that I think the cheese and crackers cost like $450 or something. When they give me this check at the end, I'm like, holy fuck. But so Keith, there's like a window with a view overlooking like the hill, it was on the south side of Sunset, so it was overlooking like whatever was lower with palm trees and vegetation, whatever. So they were at a table and it looked nice, the frame, if you took a picture of it. Tequila was just reminding me that there is a
clip on YouTube.
A clip on YouTube from that, which I had seen many years ago and then forgotten of its existence. But there's also like really, really good PIL, good audio quality footage from the second night where there were only So the punchline of the first story was that because people were having trouble getting into the building, the opening band had to start because it was all unionized, Savage Republic. So people started acting, like punk rockers, I guess you'd say, and the cops showed up and started macing people. So therefore, the second night afterwards, a lot of people told me, oh, I'd planned to go the second night, but then I heard what a nightmare the first night was, and I was scared to. So all the revenue basically just disappeared out of the second night because of how badly the management of the building had been. And another compounded reason that I should have sued them, but I'm just, what the fuck? I'm just not that way, And now I would be. But so we have this press conference at Les Dômes. Keith and John are there, and it was like sort of the, all the LA punk rock diaspora, I guess you'd say.
It was the press. They were journalists. They were nightmares.
Yeah, it was like journalists and punk rockers of note. Like, the people that wrote for LA Weekly would have been Craig Lee, Belissa Cohen, and
Shelley DeCunha.
And Shelley DeCunha, who is the alleged wife of Keith Levine. Although I don't know if they were together at that point yet or not.
They met there.
They met there, okay. And that's also where Tequila met John Lydon, was at that.
And Martin Atkins.
And, all these people were asking questions. It ended up getting covered. I remember seeing Chris Morris write something about it in the then called LA Reader. What was I going to say? It was Levine. No. It was before he met Shelley there, but I remember Chris Morris writing about how Keith Levine, quote, acknowledged his upcoming marriage, and that was to the woman in New York that he had Kurt, the child, with. So anyway, I remember like the then LA Times music critic Robert Hilburn makes his grand appearance where he walks in, looks at them at the table, sticks his nose up, and immediately turns around and walks, like, the great Robert Hilburn was here.
Meanwhile, as this is going on, I'm being harassed by Shelley DeCunha, Craig Lee, and Belissa Cohen that I don't belong there. I don't belong in the room. I'm really nobody. What the hell am I doing there? And as I answer questions and ask questions of Pill, they're telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, to shut up, while Pill was telling me that everything I said was correct.
That's entirely true. Shelley, which I don't think has an E. I think it's Shellly or EY. I think it's Shelley, and then it's capital DA, capital CUNT. No, capital CUNHA. And I had big hassles with her later too, because I did the Keith's first post PIL record, and where I had some backing at the time, and gave him way too much money that he ended up getting strung out again, unfortunately. I don't know, should we talk about that or not? And the press conference just seemed like nothing but ego. It wasn't like that satisfying. But it kind of was just, because I didn't even have a label or anything going, so it was kind of like, now if I did something like that, it would be more where various people's companies, including my own, would have been the logos attached to the thing. Then it was more or less just like, hey, we're nobodies doing this big-time concert.
What it was DIY, do it yourself. We loved the band, and we wanted the band here, so we went after the band.
Right. I mean, I did like 20-some-odd concerts, and those were either the last or next to last. It was like I was so drained from the end of that weekend.
And also you got stuck with me and Green Jello.
Basically I said, no, this is... I work for however many months on this. It's pure, after Christmas morning, after you've opened all your presents, so to speak, it's a big emotional letdown that it's over. I said, if I go into publishing and do it well, things will be in libraries and things will be in circulation long after I'm dead someday. That was kind of my, it was kind of, because I was also really influenced by how reggae promoters were, and I wanted, but the problem is that Pill had this like lower level mafia New York manager named Bob Tulipan, Tulipan, who at first was like, if you want to get anytime anybody hassles you, let me know. We got your back, blah blah blah, whatever. But then by the time of the concerts, he was totally adversarial to me, and was, now here's how naive I was that in the contract, they said they needed a Ticketron manifest to prove that there were so many dollars in the account that had been apportioned to go directly to them upon payment rather than anyone else. They come to the concert, it was like going to be the video game concert, where they actually would drive in a compact car and jump up on stage, right? So, but this Tulipan guy shows up first to get the money. He's like, okay, where's the Ticketron manifest? I said, that cost $100 to get that. I didn't bother because I'm spending so much extra money on the union. He's like, fuck you, we're not going to play. So my father happened to have been there, who's now 87. My father writes PIL the check for the whole amount. I'd forgotten about that. And then my father was, that wasn't even, I don't have that much money. That wasn't even a good check. But it was like they had that as a way to attach everything if they had to. But they were upset about that because they had to rent a house in Malibu. And Tulipan told Keith, when we go to rent the house, just tell him, quote, we're in publishing, unquote. And then a couple years later, I told Keith, imagine that I'm telling you I'm in publishing, but it's for real. And here's what we're going to do. But oh God, when they first got off the plane, and Lydon sees, oh, this guy's, he sees me, and it's like, oh, this guy's the promoter. He literally jumped about 10 feet back so he wouldn't have to. He was total fucking rock star. Like Bruce Leischer of Savage Republic, in his newsletter when it was all over, said, quote, "Meet the new boss, same as the old boss." And they got mad because the punk rock part of Savage Republic were like some pseudo-intellectual goody-goodies, but a couple of them, like Jeff Long, was like a punker type person. He and his buddies drank all of Pill's contractually supplied beer backstage, and so Pill was mad about that. But yeah, the concept of them driving in, then the second night for them to play, somebody had to drive around and collect money for tickets that had been sold at record stores. And I think I was selling tickets at about 7 record stores besides the Ticketron. And so they, it was just by the skin of my ass that either of the nights happened. And I would say that for both nights I computed that $70,000 went through my hands, and they were paid $12,000 for the first night, and did the second night as a quantity discount of $7,000. So they got $19,000, and I felt like, why did I even bother to do any of that? Now the only reason I would ever do concerts is if it's going to promote an artist who's on my label.
Me.
Being Tequila, being Sun Ra People, being Alessandra Ciletti with Redelius. They came and I did 3 things with them in 2009 and lost like $17,000 doing that, but it was totally wonderful to do. And a lot of people knew about her in the U.S. that didn't, but now I'm doing my next concerts with Alessandra, where it's going to be in L.A. at either a Getty Center or a Hammer Museum Courtyard. San Francisco, hopefully SFMOMA, and then whichever place in New York, so that by not having to pay to rent buildings, I don't have to charge people money to go to the concerts. I can just fill the buildings up by inviting everyone who knows about her on Facebook, which is thousands, So, that's why right now, you and Tequila have the perfect rhythm down with creating the book, plural books, but you're on a roll on the first one, and that was splendid what you read, and that captivated my curiosity to know any other aspect of, put the magnifying glass on this little brighter, please, so we can have all the details of where every point in your intro references what's to come in the narrative of these multiple books. And I think that it's exactly how it should be, And also, this hasn't been formally discussed, but I'm in the middle of raising $1 million right now. And Tequila and I are equal partners in the book, but you get paid as soon as I have money. That Tequila's not paying you, I'm paying you, where whatever we agree that your fee for in other words, your fee for the writing and all your time is a production expense of the book, not where it's got to come out of Tequila's share to cover you. That I'm proud to have you be the technically
technical writer,
the technical writer of the content, and so just so that you know, I'm working on getting some cash here to you ASAP.
You've been listening to Micheal Sheppard talking about the good old days with Jay Davis, who's writing my book. I wanted to share this time with you, and I hope you enjoyed listening.
I think I've just been on the radio without knowing it. Oops. But no,